Today we're checking out the brand new Meus Racing SCX24 axles. These feature a new 3-section isokinetic CVD front axle capable of up to 52 degrees of steering. They're also extended width, so they're going to give you a nice wide footprint for extra stability. They're brass and aluminum, so they're going to give you some more weight down low, unsprung, just like what we want. So let's get these open. We're going to check out the axles themselves, then we're going to put them on a build and run them to see how they perform. So let's open them up and check them out. Alright, let's take a look at these things. So I got the complete axle kit here. Also got an extra set of the 3-section CVD axles here, the shafts themselves. We'll take a look at those in a minute. Let's open up the axle set. So it comes in a complete kit, front and rear axles ready to go. There's more to it than that. My gosh, these look fantastic. Great looking axles. They come in a couple different colors. There's an all black version and then there's the silver version here, which I got. But aside from the axles themselves, we'll look at those in just a second, you also get a bunch of stuff with it. So you get an adjustable servo mount. This is very cool because it's nice and flat across the top. And you've got the adjustable ears for the mount, so you can run a big servo on here. Plenty of clearance to slide over the linkage mount in the rear here. It also comes with an extra set of gears. Now this does use a unique set of gears. The stock worm gear and worm screw from the SCX24 or aftermarket versions will not fit these axles. But Meus Racing has already supplied front and rear worm gears and worm screws installed, but they also give us a set of 2:16 ratio worm gear and worm screws for the rear so that you can get some underdrive. So here are the axle shafts, and you can see what I mean by 3-section here. You've got your inner shaft and your outer stub are connected by this middle piece here. This is an interesting design, and we're going to see how they hold up as far as longevity goes. I'll do my best to stress test them and see what they're capable of. Pretty cool engineering. I appreciate what Meus Racing is doing with trying to innovate with these axles and things. So very cool. Alright, let's get these on a build. So I'm going to put these on old Snaggletooth, which is currently running the Little Guy Racing Parts Super 8 axles. So we're going to replace those with these new ones here. But before I do put them on the build, I'm going to swap out the rear gears. I'm going to put the optional gears in here so I can get my overdrive in the front. I'm going to assemble the steering linkage, and then I'll circle back with you guys when they're on the build. Alright guys, just getting ready for the install. I got the front axle off of Snaggletooth and just want to show you a quick size comparison about how these axles stack up to these Super 8s. So while they are very close, the Super 8s are noticeably wider. To be expected, the Super 8s are an 8mm extension versus a 5mm with the Meus Racing. So swapping out the Super 8s and going to the Meus Racing on Snaggletooth is going to sacrifice a little bit of width, but I think it's going to be a worthy trade-off for the weight and the extreme steering angle that we're going to get. Alright guys, take a look at these axles. As good as they looked on the bench, they look way better on the build. So clean looking. Love how the aluminum and the brass look on here. That rear linkage riser, very sharp. Super beefy looking up front with the stainless linkage. Check out the steering angle on that. Crazy steering angle. I'm not going to be able to get full angle out of it because it's hitting my sliders pretty severely. So I'm going to have to dial that back a little bit, but I'll be able to get most of it. Assembly was really easy. I did put the 2:16 gears in the back. When you do that, you get 14% overdrive in the front. Had no issues with fit and finish. Everything went together really easy. I did have to adjust my steering linkage a little bit because the tires were towed in a little more than I would have liked when it was at fully tightened. So just using these adjustable rod ends was able to clean that up a little bit. But overall, first impressions, really happy with these axles. They look super nice on the build. Let's put the body on. It does close the stance in a little bit. You know, it's noticeable with the body on there. Gosh, this thing sits so slammed with that Maz Designs cheat code chassis. It's wild. I'm super excited to try these out. So let's hit the course and see how these things perform. Okay, here we are. Had to do some adjustments. I was finding that my motor was hitting my linkage. So I kept getting this awful sound when it was in certain situations. So I had to go back and lift up the front of the chassis a little bit to get that clearance that I needed. So I figured that out. Also had to adjust my endpoints a little bit because I'm not able to get that full 52 degrees without getting some major rubbing, but I got quite a bit, so we'll see how this thing does. So look at that steering. Crazy. I also put this on the 4-corner scale, and compared to these Super 8s, we gained about 15 grams of total weight, and it shifted the weight even further to the front. So now Snaggletooth is 61 front, 39 rear. Pretty impressive bias on this thing. Oh, the axles look so good under there. Able to take pretty gnarly line here. No issues whatsoever. Totally planted. Really composed on that decline. I just took a guess about where I wanted my rear linkage to go, the upper links I mean. It seemed to be pretty well sorted out. God, these look so good on the build. Yeah, I can hear the motor's still hitting a little bit there. Not too bad. Snaggle able to pull off a miracle save there. I was ready just in case. Be able to get back in line and stick it. Get those axles under there. So sharp. God, the steering on this thing. It's so wild. Dominating Hell's Gate. So I really like these axles. I was smitten with them right from the get-go, just how good that they looked. But now running them on the build, I love them even more. I think they fit Snaggletooth really well. Great design. I love the steering angle on it. Those 3-section CVDs, very cool. Oh, Snaggle is rocking these things so hard. I dig them. Definitely a great option for some high performance axles for the SCX24, and priced at $90 for this complete kit. I'm very impressed with how this has all come together and what you get for that price. Cool. Great job, Meus Racing. Out here on the rocks to see how these do on the backyard course. I noticed that steering link hangs out in the front pretty far. I think it's giving me some clearance issues there. So in the rocks, these do pretty good. They seem to slide pretty well over obstacles. Not getting a lot of hang-ups. The pumpkins do feel like they sit pretty low and they're pretty big, but able to glide up and over rocks. That steering linkage juts out further than I would like. I can hear that linkage still hitting my drive shaft. Look at the steering angle. So I wonder if there's a way to clean up that steering linkage. Not giving me a whole lot of problems, but it's still noticeable. Like right there. Still able to glide up and over though. Oh, can I save it? Yes. So like I said during the run footage, I'm really impressed with these axles. For $89.99, getting the complete set, front and rear, with the stainless steering linkage, the rear linkage riser with the adjustability, an adjustable servo mount, and an optional set of worm gear and worm screws that can give you that overdrive in the front. This is a really, really value-packed set of axles. And not only do they look fantastic with the aluminum and the brass finish on them, they're also very functional. With those 3-piece kinetic CVD axles, you get that extreme steering angle on there. Combine that with the overdrive and you've got a very, very tight turning radius, which for a comp rig is going to be great to navigate through those tricky gates. And even though I wasn't able to capitalize on all of that steering angle, we got pretty close. But if you had an aggressive rig that didn't have the limitations that I have on my build, and you were able to get all of those 52 degrees, that's going to be a mighty impressive setup. Overall, I'm super happy with these axles. It's been a great year for the SCX24 axles. We've now got some great options to choose from when you want to upgrade your axles, the complete housings. And the Meus Racing SCX24 axles are definitely right up there with the best of them. But let me know in the comments down below, what do you think of these axles? And I'll put the link in the description down below if you want to pick some of these up for yourself. And as always, I appreciate you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't done so, and I'll see you in the next video.